welcome back to Mountain Outpost's 2024 coverage of the Run Rabbit 100. I'm Zoe Rome, joined with Corinne Shalvoy.
Hey Zoe, what's going on?
Yeah, stoked to be here. So on the couch, we have Tyler Green and Leah Yingling, both first-time runners at the Run Rabbit. We'll start with you, Leah, but what drew you to this race?
Yeah, I love a good 100-miler in September. I think it's the best time of year to be running 100 miles. I was out here helping with the Mountain Outpost live stream last year and thought it was beautiful, loved the vibes, especially the finish line vibes. So excited to reach the finish line so I can sit down with a beer in the morning.
Heck yeah. What about you, Tyler? What brought you out to Steamboat?
When I think about all of the really kind of the classic 100-mile or Mountain West 100-milers, like Run Rabbit Run definitely comes to mind as one that I've wanted to do for quite a few years, having heard about how great level of competition, brand new trails to me, which is also exciting. And I think in the next few years, I'd love to check off a lot of those different races, Bighorn and High Lonesome, and I mean the list goes on and on. But
The bear.
This is one, the bear. This is definitely one of them that I want to do.
Awesome. All right, so I'm just going to get right into it because a lot of people watching this probably know both of you. You both have amazing running resumes and have competed at a very high level, done amazing things. But I want to know, tomorrow, are we going to see a conservative or a not conservative Leah Yingling in the race?
I just got off the phone with my coach, Megan Roach, and we had the same conversation.
All right.
I think this is a course that kind of plays a lot of my strengths. I'm able to train at high altitude out in Utah for most of the summer. And I love trails like this. I've run a similar course, which I think the bear reflects a lot of similarities in many ways. I raced Western States this past summer a little bit more aggressively, even though the placement at the end didn't really seem like it. A little bit more aggressively than I'm used to, and I think a few Western States under my belt, a strong UTMB under my belt last year, I've gained a lot of confidence in the 100-mile distance and just where I can take risks. So I think you might see me starting out similarly, but hoping to push a little bit more in the middle miles than I normally do.
Well, thanks for answering the question and giving away a race strategy for everyone watching. I appreciate it. Tyler, what's your plan? What's your strategy for something like this? There is a pretty deep men's field and some fast runners. So kind of how do you think about this in terms of the strategy on the day?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of warnings about just how cold and how lonely the night is.
Rave reviews.
1 star, 0.1 stars.
So that's something that I think saving a little bit of reserve for that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if that necessarily means conservative, but definitely I have a mantra of let the miles click by, and I'd like to get to 50 to 60, maybe 70 miles feeling good, and then go from there. But I definitely like to have some sort of both mental and gut reserve for those final 30 miles.
Yeah. Well, both of you raced Western States to start off the summer. What has training and recovery looked like in the intermediary?
Yeah, I made a good decision in quitting my job July 8th and then taking a new job that started this week. So I conveniently gave myself 2 months entirely off of work, which allowed for Mike and I to do a lot of training out in the Alps this summer, which was awesome from a physical training perspective, but even more incredible from a mental health perspective. So I think this has been way different recovery and training for me after my last few Western States than I've had before, which I'm considering a strength. So just really joyful training this summer. And I think I'm in a really good spot, mentally and physically coming into it, and well recovered too.
Awesome. What about you, Tyler?
This is a very different training block than I've had. My family, we moved to Salt Lake City 4 weeks before Western States, and that made for a little bit of a rocky ramp up to Western States, just figuring out how to both run in altitude. It was hot there, figuring out routes and stuff like that. The summer, after taking a little bit of recovery, has been an opportunity to just explore. And my big thing has been just making sure that I go on one 6 to 7 hour run each week, and I feel like I kind of got into a rut of just running like 20 milers. They take 4 hours or so, and I call it good. And so I was working on just kind of building a little bit of resiliency and some longer runs with considerably more vertical. So it's it feels different. I don't have like the same benchmarks to say, oh, okay, I'm really, really fit because I ran this particular route in this time, or I felt this way, because it's all new. But I trust that I've done a good amount of running in terms of time on feet, like time volume, and I think that'll translate well tomorrow.
Awesome. Nice. So both of you are also experienced at UTMB, which is a night start. This is a 1 p.m. start. So I feel like you're probably going to take some confidence knowing that you've done that whole thing and like running through the night, and is pretty familiar to you. I guess, do you have any thoughts on that? Like, what do you think of, I mean, UTMB, right? 6 p.m. So you're pretty much starting as it's getting dark. And then here you have a little bit of the heat and stuff.
Yeah, I think this is nice in that generally everybody runs through the entire night, which I don't think you have at a lot of races.
Yeah.
Like UTMB you do as well, which is nice. But I think it really forces you to be a good troubleshooter, to know yourself well and like know when and how to take care of yourself, especially like on a course like this where the last 30 miles are pretty lonely. You don't have crew to lean on. You really have to be self-sufficient and know yourself well. And I think that's something that UTMB really teaches you is you're rolling with the punches out there by yourself, and you're having to take care of yourself before you know that you need to take care of yourself. And I think that's going to be really important here.
Yeah. Are either of you using poles?
We've talked about it. I think maybe a little bit, not for the whole thing though. I think I found with myself when I use poles, I end up running less than I would otherwise. So just trying to be a little bit strategic about when I use them out on the course.
Yeah, my plan currently is to use them for the first climb into Fish Creek Falls, and then at the very end as well. But I also have a quiver that I can throw them back if they're not serving me well. It's a little extra weight, but I think it's fairly negligible.
So it's both of y'all's first year here. You haven't spent a ton of time out, like necessarily projecting the course. So some of it's going to be pretty new, fresh trail. Is there anything you're particularly looking forward to or excited about?
I think what you just said right there is just like so
trail.
Many new trails. A while back I did Cascade Crest, and it was 100 brand new miles that I'd never seen before, and that really excited me. I think there's a place for going and seeing every single mile of the course and knowing what's coming, and that being playing into someone's advantage and playing
like
into
Western.
my advantage if I were to do that, of course. But I think that there's also it's the story that you tell yourself, and I think that I can tell myself the story of like, I'm going to experience some brand new miles, and not quite 100. I know there's a few places where you do some out and backs and stuff, but I think for the most part, like, brand new trails are exciting.
Yeah, agreed. And I think this time of year is just gorgeous out here. The aspens are starting to change, so I think that's going to make for some enjoyable miles. And it's not often that you get to like have a teammate that you're racing with.
Yeah.
So I think knowing that you've got like some camaraderie out there, and you can't exactly give up because your teammate's depending on it, I think that's some cool energy that we don't really get to experience otherwise in the sport.
Yeah, we interviewed the race directors, and they were talking about that so many of the decisions around the prize purse, around the team competition, around adding 100-miler, they all came from athletes asking for that stuff. So they like really listened to, in particular, the elite athlete field and said, what would make this appealing to you? And I think it's really cool that they figured out a way to appeal to both and have like a race where everyone can kind of, they also said that the tortoises love being able to see the hares and like kind of watch their race and be a little bit more involved in it than just standing at the start line together and then never seeing them again. And so it's a really cool dynamic. And just like having been out on course too, I feel like the tortoises, you probably got the same thing. They are so excited. I've like
never high-fived so many
the
people.
biggest cheering crowd when you are coming down Fish Creek. They're like freaking out for you. So it's really cool because in a race with no pacers and a lot of alone time, like it's cool to have that on course. Yeah.
You get to be a little part of a lot of people's day out there, which is really, really cool. I would love to hear a little bit about y'all's nutrition strategy going into this race. There's some high altitude sections up there. Sometimes eating can get a little sketchy in the thinner air. What's y'all's approach to nutrition during this event?
think just being flexible in general. I think altitude, it can be tricky sometimes where you might feel good for a stretch when you're up there if you're just like touching 10,000 feet and coming down. But I think especially the last 30 miles of this, you're staying up above 10,000 feet for quite a bit of it. So just not getting stuck in a rut of forcing anything at any given point in time, and being flexible. I really like butternut squash soup in races, so I'll probably be having some of that at some point as well.
Sounds amazing.
How very autumnal of you. Like,
'Tis the season.
It is.
Yeah, Leah.
Seriously. We need to get some of that as well. Of course, nice.
Yeah, for me, it's a steady stream of calories as best I can, as opposed to kind of having your 15 or 20 minute intervals of a gel. I'm going to have a lot more liquid calories with the idea that I can be slowly getting calories in or slowly but steadily getting calories in. So that's the strategy I'll take, as well as I saw, like, just looking down the list of what's available at aid stations, I saw mashed potatoes. So I'll be eating mashed potatoes.
Can we talk about the one? I didn't see your race spreadsheet yet, but Caleb shared one sentence from it that I really enjoyed. Can I? It's about.
I don't know what it is.
So it says, I think Tyler has a piece of pizza planned out during his race, and it says like piece of pizza, like walk with that out of the aid station.
Yeah, Billy's rabbit hole, dishing up like oven fired pizza.
It'll be on course.
To be coming from here.
You can have
multiple pizza.
Okay.
So well, he read that to me in the car yesterday, and I was like, I might need to take a page out of Tyler's book because I love that the pizza's already planned into the race.
It's planned.
Yeah, I do like
pizza.
some real food. I think nighttime there's a little bit of creature comfort there as well. When you're eating real food.
Yeah, just wandering around in the dark with the pizza.
Who knows if the stomach actually allows for that to happen.
All right, so if you care to share, we just kind of want to know your goals for the race. You're a team. You're the Greenlings. Great name, by the way.
Thanks.
Love it. I mean, Tyler could potentially go for, the win. You could go for the team competition. You could go for the Masters bonus. I mean, there's a lot
He
of.
could also win the first climb one. Tyler could leave here with like $20,000.
Yeah. We need to. Yes, the first climb is also something we've asked people.
Cash equivalent of a Honda Civic if he's sitting on the couch right now.
Yeah. So to the extent that you want to share, do you have goals in terms of time or placement tomorrow?
I will always be a little bit, I don't know quite the word, a little shy about my goals, and say that it's about a process of, I get an opportunity to learn about how to run at night better. I get an opportunity to learn how to run at altitude better, which I one day hope to run hard rock, and I think that those are good.
It's the qualifier. There you go.
Those are good, good things to continue to add to my skill set in hopes of doing some other races that I want to do someday. So there's process within that. And then of course my goal is to compete and to compete at the front. And I guess, let's just say it. I've had a lot of second places. I've had a lot of third places. I'd like to win a race.
Yay! There is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that's a very relatable sentence. I always tell people I'm like queen of the back half of the top 10. So if you want to know how to get 6th or 10th place in a race, you can talk to me. But yeah, similar things. Like it's really satisfying when you run a race that you're proud of. And I think every race that I enter, especially 100 milers, I leave it really satisfied if I ran to the best of my abilities, if I had a really good day of troubleshooting, if I pushed myself more than I like to. I'm usually satisfied with that. I think this is one that I would love to win, and I think I would also love if our team won as well. So I think that's going to be giving me a lot of energy out there to know that Tyler's executing most likely a very good day, and that'll keep me going.
Yeah, it is really special to have this. I know we already talked about the team aspect of it a little bit, but I coach cross country, and the difference between track and cross country, it's just cross country is so exciting because of that team aspect of the sport. I know that exists in track as well, but not quite to the same with the same juice. And watching world championships happen, and now it's every second counts. I'm excited to do that for the first time in ultra running. That's for me at least.
I definitely think we need more of it. Like even if it wasn't like for a prize, like either the co-ed thing or or like a cross country style, like 4 or 5 people that are competing as a team, and like it'd add a lot to it.
Well, we all know ultra running is a team sport. Who is supporting y'all out there this weekend? Who do you have on your crews that you'd love to shout out?
Yeah, my main crew person is just my husband Mike.
AKA Shit in the Woods.
Yeah, he's
Mr. Shit in the Woods.
recovering from his own UTMB and then a bout of COVID that I was able to stay entirely away from last week.
Good for you.
Very proud of.
Wow.
So yeah, half the battle of racing is getting to the start line healthy, so able to do that. But yeah, he'll be my main support. Also we'll have Natalie Weeks, who's the Lululemon brand manager out there, supporting as well.
Nice.
I'll have Caleb Olson doing my main crew job, and then my wife was able to come. We just barely snuck it in. She's in the middle of residency right now and is doing a surgery rotation currently, but was able to finagle a couple days to be able to make it out here. So I'm sure she'll put in some helping hands. And then my son, who just hopefully cheers for me.
He will give you as many peanut butter filled pretzels as you want. He's in love with them. We saw Lou. Yes. He's going to be the biggest cheer squad.
Excellent quality in a crew member. Stoke and snacks.
Stoke and snacks. Yeah. Awesome.
That's my race mantra.
Yeah. That's all you need, really. Just 100 miles of Stoke and snacks.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. We are so excited to follow along with you starting tomorrow at 1.
Hey, thanks for having us,
you
guys.
both have an awesome day. Super excited for you.
Closer to the sun.